Hey everyone, welcome back. So it's this time of year again where I'm doing my top 10 worst and top 10 best episodes of, I guess, the Walking Dead universe. In previous years, I've always done just The Walking Dead, but since we do have a lot more spin-offs now, I'm going to be doing this every year, and I'm just going to do top 10 worst episodes of the Walking Dead universe and best. I think it makes the most sense just because, there's a lot of content to go through, and if I just focus on Walking Dead episodes, there's a lot of those episodes that are just kind of like, I would say average, and I mean, spoiler alert, but episode 8 of season 11, For Blood, is not on my top 10 worst or top 10 best, because was it a really good episode? No, not really. Was it a really bad episode? No, not really as well. That's kind of in the middle of the pack, I would say. And so that's why on this list here, I'm taking everything into account, right? Whereas if I just focus on The Walking Dead, that would probably be on there because, there would only be like 16 episodes to go through, and I'd have to choose a top 10. In this video, I had to go through the worst episodes from all of season 6 of Fear the Walking Dead, at least from episode 8 to 16. I had to go through the Walking Dead season 10 bonus episodes, as well as all of season 11, and then Fear the Walking Dead season 7 as well. And yeah, all of World Beyond and stuff. So obviously, before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you want more Walking Dead content like this. My top 10 best episodes will be posted in 2 days, so stay tuned for that. And definitely, you guys are probably going to disagree with me. So instead of getting mad at me and arguing with me and telling me why I'm wrong, just post your top 10 down below of all of it, like literally everything Walking Dead universe related that came out in the year of 2021, and then just kind of see how it compares and see if my worst episode of all time is related to your worst episode of all time. But anyways, without further ado, let's actually get into my top 10. So, number 10, Rendition. This is The Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 4. This was the episode where we actually got to see Daryl's point of view from the point of when they got out of the subway tunnel, and then they all sort of, the Reapers attacked them, and then they all like spread apart. We see Daryl actually run into Leah. And, this episode, I think, and that's what I will say, my top 10 worst and top 10 best episodes are going to be a little bit different than my reviews and how I reviewed it, a few months ago, just because I can now look back at those episodes and be like, so like, how did that episode play a role in the overall story? And when episode 4 originally came out, I actually liked the episode quite a bit. Looking back at it now, though, it definitely was the one where, like, there's some redeeming qualities about it. I like the whole Leah and Daryl stuff, but for the most part, I think this is the episode where things started to switch. The first 3 episodes of season 11 were so good. This was the one that changed the Reaper arc into being really not that interesting at all, because the group started to not wear their masks anymore, and we started to learn more about what they actually were about. And I found it incredibly boring. I wish that it went in a better direction, but I mean, Rendition, in my opinion, is like, this is exactly where it should be. Number 9, The Last Light. So this is the series finale to World Beyond. Yeah, I mean, the episode I thought was just, I think it could have been better, but for a finale, for a finale to the end of the series, nothing really happened. There was no Rick reveal. That's a big one, because this show was made because it's supposed to be this sort of like precursor or prelude or whatever intro to the Rick movies, right? And we didn't really, I mean, yes, it did establish it a little bit. The Jada stuff definitely, it was exciting, and we learned a lot more stuff. But in terms of, I guess, ending the World Beyond story, The Last Light sort of just focused on the characters, and the characters were the worst part about it the entire time, right? I've hated the characters from basically the beginning. I would try to give them chances here and there. Sometimes they would, they would redeem themselves a little bit. They'd work here and there, but then eventually it was just bad writing in general, and I think just being miscast. So The Last Light, some of it was really cool. Huck's death was definitely it was a big highlight there. But besides that, nothing else for the most part happened. And I think that's why it's on my list right here. So number 8, Death and the Dead. And in this episode, we actually had a confrontation. A lot of things went down here, and it was actually pretty exciting looking back at it, because you're sort of in the heat of the moment. There's a lot of drama, a lot of action going on. At this point, I think you can see that, the quality of the show, the good writing, what was starting to go away a little bit. I think everyone could see it, because it started to get, I don't know, it started to feel like this ending wasn't going to be that great. And the last few episodes that we got from like 5 to 7 were the best part about all of it. So yeah, that's why it's on my list right here. Number 7, In Dreams. So this is Fear the Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 12. Like I was debating whether or not I should put this on the list just because of, what the episode's actually about. I don't have an issue with that really, but I just thought the whole dream segment was just really unnecessary. Back then it was really cool. It was kind of cool to see some of it, but like looking back at the flow of that second half there of Fear the Walking Dead, there was honestly no point in having this episode here. I think it was just a lot of it was just there for nothing, like just for the sake of being dramatic. And so I think that, this is kind of where it deserves to be on the list. I think that it is definitely in the top 10 worst episodes because I think they could have got to the point a lot quicker to like the ending result. I think the ending was really good though. Like I did like the ending. It's just for the most part, this whole episode was just a lot of what I never liked about The Walking Dead season 8 with the constant flashbacks. Like this definitely felt like something Gimple would have done, right? Because Gimple, when he was in charge of The Walking Dead, there was a lot of flashbacks, a lot of dream sequences. It got to the point where it felt too like philosophical, and I've never been a fan of that type of storytelling. So that's why it's here on my list. I like the tone and the scenes and I guess the acting and the performances at the very end, but it's just that throughout all of it, that definitely outweighs that. I think that's why it's on my list here, because it's just when you can't really rewatch it because it's kind of cringy the whole entire time. Number 6, family is a 4-letter word. So this is season 2 of episode 4. I mean, to be honest, at this point here, you can kind of put any of the World Beyond episodes. Like World Beyond season 2, most of the episodes are pretty bad. Though I will say some of them are like decent, and so that's why they're not actually on this list. And actually a few of them I will say is in my top 10 best list. But yeah, this episode I just wasn't that big of a fan of. It's sort of it's just what I don't like about World Beyond, just kind of in general. Again, it focuses a lot on the characters, but it's not like the Last Light, where that one sort of ended everything, and so you still got that CRM stuff. And again, or not again, but remember, at this point here, this is episode 4, so this is before Jadis even shows up, right? So we had no idea how exciting it was going to get, and so we're 4 episodes in. They air this one. It just kind of seemed like there's kind of no point. I don't know. We're gonna have to suffer through this the entire time. But luckily, Jadis showed up and saved the day and made all of our viewing experiences so much better for the next coming weeks. Number 5, Diverged, season 10, episode 21. Oh man, it's weird to think that this episode is worse than the other episodes that I said on the list, like some of the even like World Beyond episodes, but it is, because like there are parts of it where I can try to find some entertainment in it, but it really feels like the episode was sort of written for no reason. They had 6 episodes, and so Angela King had to come up with 6 ideas, and so she split them up and did character pieces sort of thing. And this one, I think she just had no idea what to do here, because obviously they probably wanted to have Here's Negan as the very last one because it was the best one, right? And then they probably started from episode 17 and worked their way up. I think by the time they got to 21, they were like, what the hell do we do here? We already worked through all the characters. Oh, I know. Let's focus on Carol. And then they give her like the worst story ever. I don't know. The whole thing of just chasing a rat the entire time, I really wasn't a fan of that. Again, I found some enjoyment in the episode, but mostly that was the stuff with Jerry and Carol, I would say, for the most part. But other than that, even the ending was just sort of pointless, right? Like the bonus episodes overall felt kind of pointless, although they're good in the sense that they're like mini stories. But yeah, looking back at this one here, it really did not hold up. And I think it was so pointless. In the end, Daryl and Carol were not mad at each other anymore, I guess, because that happened in episode 18. But at this point, they were just kind of like, all right, we can be around each other again, but I'm still kind of mad at you, which is where they were just before all the bonus episodes even happened. So again, kind of pointless. Number 4, Reclamation, season 7, episode 6. I don't really think I need to really say any more. This episode, it started off good. There were some good moments there with the CRM with Morgan and Althea, but I don't know what they did to Althea's character in this episode, but they completely butchered her. She didn't deserve that. From going back and forth, from originally wanting to be with Althea, wanting to be with Isabel so bad, to like as soon as you find her and she saves you, all of a sudden being like, nah, I don't want to be with you. And then later on being like, yeah, I want to be with you. Like you went back and forth like that all in this episode, and it was written just for the sake of drama. It was so pointless watching it. It was frustrating. You hate Althea because of what she's doing to Isabel. It's just, and Althea is not that character. She's always been a really great character. She's been really nice. is just complexity for the sake of complexity. And I'm not a fan of this episode, and that's why it's so high on my list here. Number 3, Splinter, season 10, episode 20. This one here, obviously, is the big princess episode of this season. We all thought we would be getting more Commonwealth stuff. And looking back, there was no reason why we couldn't, right? Like, a lot of what happened in this one here was basically what happens in episodes 1 and 2 of season 11. But I think they could have gave us a little bit more here. There were certain things that happened in 1 and 2 that I think they could have gave us in there. Just a little more, a little more of the Commonwealth reveals, just anything. But of course, we didn't. And now looking back at it, it was sort of pointless. And I know they focused on Princess's mental health and stuff like that. So I don't want to make it about like, oh, they talked about that, so it's a bad thing. No, none of that. I think actually what they did there towards the end of the episode was so perfect, because like Princess, she adopts this thinking of like, or this mindset of like positive thinking, which is something that is so important. It's something that it's really hard to learn, but I know I myself, I've learned how to do that, and it changes a lot. Like, it's not a cure or anything like that, but it's something that helps so much. And so I think that the Ezekiel and Princess scene there, I thought was really great. It's just that the whole episode was sort of like, we were forced to watch like a therapy session, which I think that, again, it isn't necessarily bad, but when we're all hyped and excited for some more Commonwealth stuff and that's all we get, it was a big, I remember when this episode came out, we were all so disappointed with it. We thought, well, we're going to see this, we're going to meet maybe Lance Hornsby, or maybe we'll see the Commonwealth at the end. No, nothing. Number 2, and actually I'm going to go to number 1, because if I go to number 2, you guys will probably, actually, you know what? No, you won't know what number 1 is. So number 2, Foothold, season 2, episode 2. And you know what? Let's just go to number 1. I don't even know how to say it. The words here, consequence, or anyways, these are episodes 1 and 2 of season 2. I thought these were probably the weakest episodes of anything Walking Dead related that came out this year. It was the premiere to World Beyond, and I think that it was just bad writing the entire time. There was nothing really that great about it. It was worrisome after these episodes aired, because looking forward, we were like, damn, we're gonna get like 10 more or 8 more of these episodes until like the last 1 or 2. Then maybe those ones will be good, with something Rick related or Jadis related. They were just, well, I don't want to say they were unneeded. Like they were unneeded, but like they also, that's just the story that you wrote. So obviously what happens in these episodes, you kind of have to have them there. But like, again, that's why I have so many The Walking Dead World Beyond episodes on here, because this series was just horrible. I hope this is a lesson in some sense that you have to be careful in what you make, right? Like, I kind of feel like Marvel is going through that a little bit right now, where you can't just release anything, right? Like the Eternals, I think they were hoping the Eternals was going to be really big, like, say, Guardians of the Galaxy or something like that. No one went to go see it. No one liked it. So, like, I hope that's a lesson that, like, you can't just, like, do that all the time. You got to release what the fans want in some sense, right? Like, you don't want to cater to the fans too much, but you can't just be that insane with it, because no one's going to check it out, right? And I think with World Beyond and just Walking Dead in general, I think this is a lesson to AMC, or at least Gimple anyways, or I guess Gimple probably comes up with the ideas, but AMC might approve them, right? I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Anyways, yeah, you can't just do anything that you want in that sense, and I think that at least originally World Beyond might have been a better idea. Looking back at it, I think they were probably thinking, well, let's just do Stranger Things, but in the Walking Dead universe. But obviously now, at this point, Stranger Things is sort of old. No one really... Well, I guess the next season people are excited about, but like that was sort of its own thing. A lot of people tried to adopt that same story in that sense, but it's just not going to work, especially in The Walking Dead. The characters have never been the most exciting part about it. In fact, people hate the younger characters in this show, because they do things that frustrate us, right? So anyways, I'm going to leave it here. These are my top 10 episodes, or top 10 worst episodes of anything Walking Dead universe related of 2021. Definitely post your top 10 below. Stay tuned for my top 10 best episodes, and I'll see you guys in that one.